much do you trust your doctor? It's a question our next guest asked herself on her journey to fight cancer.
This morning we welcome Rena Weiner. She's the author of Trust Your Doctor, but Not That Much. Hello and welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, we're glad you're here this morning. Okay, so you've been fighting a rare form of cancer for several years. You're now in remission for 2 years, is that correct?
2 years most recently, yes.
Congratulations, that's good news. What prompted you to write this book?
Well, I wanted to encourage patients to ask a lot of questions, be proactive in their care, and advocate, I should say. Because when you do advocate, then you are more likely to get very good care.
So you have some tips, and you said your first one is to be an active participant in your health care. What do you mean by that, and how can people take control of that?
Well, ask a lot of questions. Keep asking questions. And if you feel you are not being heard, ask again. But I think it's super important to prepare for a visit, whether you have a great big problem or a little annoying one. And so sitting down and writing a list of your symptoms, what you've done to treat them, over-the-counter, prescription drugs, physical therapy, whatever it is, and be really clear about what you have and what you've done and what you will do in order to get better.
Coming in with notes is very helpful because you think you're going to remember everything, and the truth is that you don't, right?
I don't. I tell people to do it, and then I write the list. Oops! But I do really try to, and I was just at the doctor yesterday, and so I print up my list, and then I give a copy to the physician, so we go through it together.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to ask questions until you're clear and you have all the information that you want. You also say in the book, create a mutually respectful relationship with your doctor. Talk more about that.
Well, you can. If you have done your research and you can communicate what you know with respect to the physician's expertise and talent and caring, all of that. But when you prepare and when you do your research, then you are knowledgeable enough to have a very informed discussion.
I think most people find that a little bit intimidating, but you keep using the word prepare. You said prepare for a visit, prepare for a visit. So you can walk me through some steps. How do you prepare for a visit?
Well, you prepare by sitting down and writing out your list. That's what I do whenever I'm going to go, with all your symptoms, your issues, your questions, your concerns, and you go over it together. But you really need to sit down, take the time, unless it's an emergency, and you can't, obviously. But other than that, you take the time to think about what it is. And, you know, if you're having like a problem, like the other day I had a problem with my neck, I had to, where is it? Is it here? Is it there? Once you give the doctor or healthcare provider more clues, then they are better able to kind of filter all that in the computer in their head and say, okay, it's not this, it's not this. Well, maybe it's this.
Okay. Next, know how to find a doctor. What advice do you have here when it comes to choosing a doctor?
Well, it depends on the particular problem that you have, but generally most people ask friends. You can do that. That's a definite way. Nurses are a wonderful resource because they work with doctors. Pharmacists are a great resource. You can go to your local pharmacy and say, whom would you recommend to me? There are a number of websites that you can go to. And also, if you have a particular illness, like a chronic problem, there are a lot of support groups, foundations, charitable organizations. They have tons of information about whom to go to, support groups that you can attend, and also financial help, because a lot of health care gets pretty expensive.
I would imagine that handling a difficult diagnosis would be tough for anybody, but I would also imagine that the words matter what the doctor says to you.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. If you have a serious illness and you have to get the bad news, it can be presented in a way that's honest but supportive. That makes all the difference. If you're a healthcare professional, is more harsh when they tell you the bad news, then you take those words home and you live with them, or the good words. But patients do take the words home and live with them. So therefore, if you get, what can I say, words that are not easy to hear, then at least you know if you've got the support and they've got your back, you feel like, this is not great, but I can get through it. The other way adds more stress, and who needs more stress, really?
That's so true,
Who
right?
needs it?
Get a copy of Rena's book, RenaWeiner.com. That's the website to go to. Trust your doctor, but not that much. Again, RenaWeiner.com. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you're in remission, and thank you for writing the book. Yes.
My pleasure, and Levine Cancer Institute is an excellent way or place to be treated. Thank you very much.